time to come clean. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, welcome. I'm Mallory, and in today's video I'm going to be coming clean about my plastic surgery journey. I'm going to be telling you guys my plastic surgery story. Before I start, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me down in the comment section below, but that does not include haterade. Like, if you're a hater and like you're being mean about plastic surgery, like that's not your vibe and you have nothing but negativity on your mind, just keep it to yourself. Just click off, keep it to yourself. We'll see you in the next one. Y'all ready to talk about surgery? Yo, I'm ready to come clean. I've been holding on to my surgery journey story for a while because I wasn't sure if I wanted to share or just lie and say that I worked out and drank some slim tea like most people do. But I'm just going to share my story because I feel like these were extremely helpful to me whenever I was getting ready to have surgery. I watched so many videos. I felt like I could do the surgery myself at this point. Like, I knew every single thing. I want y'all to ignore my hair. The humidity is humiditying Mother Nature, you know. Can't do anything about it. So on April 5th, 2024, I had surgery in South Lake, Texas with Dr. Michael Vennemeyer. You guys, I feel like sometimes I think about him and I think about like, what does he want for lunch, or what does he want for Christmas? It's such a life-changing experience getting a surgery like that, especially if you're a mom and you're like not into your body for a long time and then somebody snatches you. It's just like forever in my heart. I'll never forget him. I did my consultation virtually. It was back in 2020 and I booked. You had to pay a deposit to like start the process, and I paid my deposit in 2021, early 2021. I had a tummy tuck with Lipo 360, hernia repair, muscle repair, and arm lipo. So your girl, I spent the day getting snatched, okay? At first, I was just gonna do the tummy tuck, but I was like, yeah, I add some arm lipo in there. That's been like a huge insecurity of mine for a while. So I was like, yeah, since we doing stuff, then we might as well do it all. A lot of people were like, why are you getting arm lipo? Like, it's not that bad. Let me insert a before and after clip. See, I feel like people don't be seeing your vision until the vision has already visioned, and then it's like, baby girl, I needed that arm lipo. So I paid around $16,000 and some change for this surgery. So I know you're like, ooh, I know, me too. I'm going to give you the pros and cons of this surgeon and like things that I liked about him, things that I didn't. And after that, we're just going to talk about all surgery. So I am going to like timestamp all of this because I know it's a lot of information. So I'm going to timestamp it so you can see what you want to see. And yeah, it'll be in the description box below for you. The surgeon, again, Dr. Michael Vennemeyer, he was in South Lake, Texas. $16,000 is about what I paid for it. I'm going to try to insert a receipt right here so you can see how much everything was. But again, all these prices have probably gone up since then. On this receipt, you can see that it says March 19th. That was my original surgery date, but that's something else that I'll tell you about in a little bit. But so pros of Michael Vennemeyer. So he is extremely safe. Like, they call him conservative on safety, which I would have to say is 100% true. For me, getting surgery was super scary because I do have three baby girls and a husband. So I wanted to make sure that whoever I was dealing with was safe. He has great results. His clientele was very diverse, and he does a free boudoir shoot after you're healed from surgery. If you don't know what a boudoir shoot is, basically where you put on like sexy lingerie and you get a professional photo shoot done. Cute. I know. Cute. Okay, also pros about Dr. Vennemeyer. He has, from what I saw, very great results. There were a lot of body types that I saw on his page that looked like mine before, and I was just like, okay, like definitely he can stash me together. Then like, he's done this before, he can do it again. And you know, I'm gonna work out, make sure that I'm like ready for surgery. They told me that he's very particular in everything that he does. Like, he has a very strict pain management regimen, and he also has a very strict aftercare and before care instruction. I had to lose like 30 pounds before getting this surgery. He has a very strict BMI requirement. Now, whenever he told me that the BMI requirement was under 30, like 29.9 or lower, like no excuses. He means that. He will turn you away on the day of surgery if you are not where you need to be. I've heard so many times people like, that's low, like 30 BMI, that's low. Most people are never that. Here's the thing. It's called accountability. If somebody tells you that they need you at a certain weight, then they need you at a certain weight, period. At the end of the day, if you want it bad enough, if somebody told you, if you lose 30 pounds in a year, I'll give you $1 million. Babe, you're not losing 30 pounds for $1 million. You're not putting down the big bag snacks for $1 million. You are. And stop lying. Anyway, the cons that I would have to say is the fact that he is strict. It is kind of like a con because it is, I mean, it's I mean, I don't know. It's tough when somebody's being really hard, but you very like adamant about certain things. It's kind of tough, but that was in the pros as well. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Like you want it, but it's like it sucks at the same time. But there was just one interaction with him before surgery, which is like the only one that I really had. You don't really meet him and like discuss with him until your pre-op appointment. And pre-op isn't like the same day or the day before. It's like weeks before. But my original surgery date was March 19th. So I met with him a month before on Valentine's Day, February 14th. And he just was not very friendly. And it was just like an awkward encounter, but it was so awkward that it was making me uncomfortable. And I'm standing there like naked, and then he's like, oh, like this is what it's gonna be like a huge improvement. And then he like goes to like put my robe back on, and it's like, oh my gosh, like am I gross? Like, sir, I'm already embarrassed to be standing here butt ass naked in front of you. Like, don't make me feel weirder about it. Also, he asked me if I had any questions. And so I'm like, okay, at this point, I've been researching for years. I've been knowing I'm gonna get this surgery for years. Like, I feel like I could tell him how to do that surgery at that point. But I asked him about like aftercare things. Like, can I drink arnica tea? Can I use arnica gel? Can I take bromelain? Things like that. But he was like, oh, like that's a question for Rachel or whatever her name is that was handle aftercare. And I was like, you just asked me if I had any questions, but then you're not gonna answer my question. Like, you're above answering aftercare instructions. Like, what the fuck? He's just like, no, don't ask me about aftercare shit. He's like, do not ask me about that. That's not my territory. I do the surgery. I do the snatching. After that, even like whenever I got on the surgery day before I went into surgery, he was super friendly. So I feel like maybe it was just an off day for one, or maybe it was just like, he was just like, no, that's not what I meant. Other than that, it was fine. I can't think of one other bad thing about him or his surgery center. Yeah, no, I can't think of. I'm a fan. I'm a stan. So moving on, you go to pre-op, then you do like at least with him, with the pre-op, we did a weigh-in, we did my pictures. And then he went over expectations. Like whenever I was standing in front of him naked, whenever I told y'all he made me feel like weird, whenever he was like, oh, let's put your robe back on. We went over expectations. So he's just kind of like, looks at your body and like pinches and makes sure like, oh, we can pull this, we can pull that or whatever. And yeah, that was pretty much it. Like I was kind of excited to meet him because I had been watching him like on Instagram the whole time and like seeing all his work that he's putting out. And I'm just like, oh my God, like he's so good at what he does. His patient coordinator, I think her name is Rachel. I can't really remember, but she came in and she was extremely nice. And that was the person I was supposed to ask about all the aftercare things. And she had also had surgery by Dr. Vandermeyer. So she was showing me her tummy tuck scar, answering any questions that I had about aftercare. And one of the biggest things that helped ease my mind a little bit about surgery was she asked me like what I was nervous about, and I told her I'm extremely nervous, like just not waking up, like something going wrong, like complications, not waking up basically was my biggest fear about surgery. But she assured me that there are people in his staff that like their whole job is to watch your vitals. So they call your significant other or like whoever you have on your list, they call them halfway through the surgery or like a couple hours into the surgery, halfway through, and then like right as they're like finishing up, and then right whenever they're done, check in to like let people know how you're doing, and then they watch your vitals. I don't know, that meant so much to me because I was like, I'm so nervous. Like I know that going into surgery, like most people are just like, oh, like it's just surgery, but me, I think like I overthink everything. I have the worst anxiety. So after pre-op, that was whenever it really like sunk in for me, like surgery's about to happen. Like, bitch, you better get your shit together. I'm trying to like optimize my body for surgery because they say that your healing time is better if you do that. And I was doing the bone broth diet because I hear that bone broth is also really good for your skin, and it helped me lose weight. But if you guys want a weight loss video, I'll talk about that in a different one. But I was doing all those things, so I was just like, okay, like I really just need to kick it in gear, like do like 2 days at the gym and keep doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Fast forward to the week before I'm supposed to have surgery, or like really like 2 weeks, I got sick. I tested negative for everything. So I don't actually know what I was sick with, but because of that, I was supposed to have the surgery 2 weeks later on a Tuesday. They rescheduled me. Womp womp. Yeah, it sucked. But again, this goes back to him being super strict. So they rescheduled me to April 8th. I was pissed. Oh my gosh, I cannot tell you. Like I was literally fuming, but they basically said if you're congested and you go under anesthesia, you might not wake up. So I was like, probably a bad idea then. So April 8th comes around, or like the week of April, like 1st, I guess, rolls around, and they're like, oh yeah, the eclipse is on the 8th, so we're gonna reschedule you because we're worried about traffic. Girl, oh my God. Let me tell you, there's nothing like getting your mind right for a certain date and then having it changed. There's nothing like it. Like, I was so pissed. I can't even tell you the amount of like text messages I sent out to people, and I was just fuming because April 5th was just not a good day for me to have surgery. I was just like, you know what? Like, it's either April 5th or the next date was well into the summer. So it's like, you either just bite it and take it on the 5th, or which was the Friday before the eclipse, or do it sometime in the summer. So before we get into the day of surgery, I do want to make mention, I do not see a lot of people on here talking about the anxiety that you have before surgery. I had the absolute worst anxiety, like weeks leading up into it, but definitely like the days before, the days leading up, anxiety was on 10. I can't even tell you like the thoughts that were going through my head. I was just like, should I even be doing this? Are all my dates being rescheduled because I shouldn't be doing this? Like, all these like dark thoughts were going through my head, and it's like, it was literally consuming me. It's all like rational fears, but I know my labs are good. I know I'm healthy. I know that I should make it through this, but it's still that what if that's it's so freaking scary. But it's like, whenever you want something so bad, it's just like, I don't know. It's just like the weight of it all is all so much. If you're like an overthinker, anxiety type person like I am, like, boy, you're gonna have a day. You're gonna have a day ahead of you. I think whenever I first did my research, I thought that they gave you like a Xanax or something. I said this Xanax would have came in handy. It would have came in handy, and I did not get one. No one gave me one. As we go into surgery day, the night before, there were some medications that I had to take, and I had to take a shower with this soap called Cleanse. It's an antibacterial soap. And that's another I forgot to mention this. I'm sorry. I keep rambling before we get to surgery day. My surgeon, he had an app called WebMD, and he had videos on there that tell you all about the surgery. It gives you a list of aftercare instructions and aftercare needs, like things that an Amazon checklist, like shit that you need off of Amazon expeditiously. You got to order all this stuff. He also sends over your prescriptions ahead of time. Like, I had them like 30 days before the surgery, but he sends you a list, and this is part of his pain management regimen that he has, that he's very strict about. And I'm like, well, you want me to not be in pain? I'm going to listen and follow what you tell me, period. So yeah, the night before, I did my Cleanse shower, the antibacterial soap. There was a scopolamine patch that I had to put behind my ear. That was for nausea. So he said, put that behind your ear the night before. And then there was some other medication that I had to take. I don't know what the medicine was for. I'm not going to pretend like I'm a real doctor. Like, I only went to Grey's Anatomy school. Fast forward the day of surgery, April 5th. My surgery call time was at 11 a.m. I had to be there like 15 minutes before. And so we took the kids to school. They actually had like a muffins in the morning thing, which was kind of cute. I couldn't eat them though. They said don't eat after 12. But so I went, had breakfast with them at school, dropped them off at school, and then my husband takes me to the surgeon's office. But before I went, I had to take more medication. I had to take another shower with the Cleanse, and then wear something that was like easy to get in and out of. That was it. We was in there. We was ready for surgery. They did the pregnancy test for me the day of surgery. They had to do my nicotine test like days before, but I don't smoke, so I wasn't worried about that at all. But the day of surgery, a surgeon comes in, and whenever he comes in this day, he's much friendlier. Like, so much, oh my God, like so much nicer. And I was just like, okay, so this is who you actually are, because first impression wasn't great. I'm not gonna lie, it was not great. But he was nice, and he was like, yeah, this is gonna be you're gonna look so good. Like, I was like, thank you. That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know, is that you think you can make me look good. He marked me up, and he was like, okay, so the anesthesiologist is gonna come and talk to you, and then you're gonna go under, and then I'll meet you in the surgery room. And I was like, can't wait. While I'm waiting on her, they're like looking over me or whatever, and girl, so embarrassing, I did not shave good enough, I guess, because I had a wax appointment scheduled, and then I had to keep rescheduling, so I didn't get a wax. But they were like, they shaved me. Like, talk about embarrassing. They shaved me with a little razor, like a little clipper. And like, was like, don't be worried, we do this all the time. And I was like, that doesn't make me feel better. Like, did you clean those? I was not here for it. After all that, and they take me into the surgery room. The surgery room, it was kind of scary because they have like pictures of your body, like the pictures that are, I'll provide the pictures like right here. They have these pictures like on the wall, like on the big screen TV. They have the time, and it looks so official because I mean, it is a surgery room. It's kind of scary. I'm like, damn, like how many baths do I need to take? I took one last night, took one this morning, and then they bathed me again. And like they were like really bathing me, like between all my creases. And the lady was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sure this feels weird. And I was like, can you just wipe my ass and just put me on this table? Like, don't talk to me about it. I truly had to tap into like the thought that like it's basically like having a baby, and you know that you're going to get something great out of it. So, you know, like all of these things are happening to you. You just have to let it happen, and then you'll get something great in the end. That's kind of where I was with it. But as soon as they did all that, they put me on the bed, and then the anesthesiologist came in and she was like, okay, so I'm going to put this in there and then you're going to fall asleep. And I was like, great, like the sooner the better. And so she did, and it was lights out. And I remember waking up. I remember waking up once before I was getting in my car, and I was just like shivering, but I'm assuming that's from anesthesia because I wasn't really cold. I was just like shaking a lot. But the surgeon was right there. I remember waking up, he was right there, and he was just like, I was like, can I get a blanket? And he was like, sure. And then he gave me some more pain. He was like, yeah, let's get her pain medicine too. So he gave me some medicine, and then like I don't remember anything after that. I remember getting in my car, and it was kind of scary because I remember I said I got there at like 11, like 10:45. I did not leave until like 9 something at night. My first thought was like, okay, am I okay? Because it's dark outside, and I don't feel like it should have been dark outside. But I was also sitting there for a while beforehand, so I don't really know. But yeah, I remember walking to my car and well, not walking, but then wheeling me out to my car and then getting in, and my husband was talking to the nurse and they were getting me in the car, and don't remember anything after that. I just remember getting home, and the first thing I had to do was go pee, which I was like, I don't even know how to work my own body. Like, it just feels so weird. And I sent my husband to go get me my walker. So he ran inside, got my walker. And if you don't buy anything else, for aftercare and surgery, you need a walker and a toilet seat riser, because had I not had those two things, yeah, I wouldn't have made it. I remember that, and I remember him changing my drains and giving me some sort of medication, and I remember going to sleep. Which brings me to what you need the first 3 days of surgery. You need help the first 3 days of surgery. I would have to say the first 3 days are the hardest. The first night, you're in the most pain. You feel, it's like I almost felt like front heavy, like I was about to split in half. It was almost like I felt like I needed to hold my like lower half up, like my legs and stuff. I felt like I needed to hold myself up, but I mean I didn't. But I felt like I needed to, because it just feels so heavy. Like you just feel so weird. I was hunched over the first 3 days. I had to use a walker. You have to do your drains. My surgeon required that you do like a drain log, a nutrition log, and I had to take pictures of it, take pictures of my body to make sure that I'm healing correctly. And then I had to do a daily check-in. They would call between like 7 and 8 in the morning to check in, and they did not want to talk to your caregiver. They only wanted to speak to you. Again, he's very strict, but that's what I needed. Strict on safety. That's what we want. It is extremely painful the first 3 days. Like I try to think like, was I in pain? No, I was in pain. I was definitely in pain, especially whenever you sneeze and whenever you cough. Oh my God. Wow. That was insane. Like the feeling that you get whenever you sneeze is just like, because of the muscle repair and them sewing your muscles back together, it was just like a splitting pain. Oh my God. That almost took me out. I had so many bandages. The drains were disgusting, and like you have to like milk the drains, like pull the liquid through the holes, change up the drains, clean them, all those things. My husband was like the best. I feel like I was so worried about him taking care of me, because he's never had to take care of me in like that type of capacity before, so I wasn't really sure what to expect. But he did honestly the best. Exceeded expectations. Like all the things that he did for me, I was just like, oh my gosh, I think I like you for real. There's fluids coming from everywhere, especially with the lipo. They put a drain in my back. There's fluid coming out of there. He had to change my bandages. He had to take my photos. Yeah, it's pretty gross. And there were a few times I needed him to like help me up into the bed. And I mean, he was really put to work those first few days. I definitely could not have done that by myself. Before I forget, he recommended that you eat like half your weight in, or even like a little bit more in protein. That'll help you heal, and drink like a gallon of water a day. for protein, for food, basically, because my husband's he's not a chef. Like, he can do okay, but for me, I ordered a bunch of Factor meals. If you're not familiar with Factor, it is like a pre-made meal service. I had them delivered the Monday before, and they have all the macros and everything, and you can choose between like Calorie Smart, protein, whatever. They have all like keto. They have all different types of meal plans, but I did the protein plus, and that's what I ate like the first week, just so I can make sure that I'm eating good food. I know the macros, and I know, so I'll measure it out for you. I thought that would be easiest for me, and it came in clutch. Okay, so after the first 3 days, and I also forgot to mention in the first like the first couple of weeks, you have to do like a breathing treatment, like to make sure that your lungs are clear. You have to like walk every like 10 minutes every hour, or like 10 minutes every 4 hours in the middle of the night. I was not taking no chances. So literally I was still getting up every hour, because getting surgery is the easy part. Like, you just sleep. But it's the aftercare and the before care that's really hard, because you're basically working to keep yourself alive, like to make sure that you don't have complications. Because if you don't move, you get like DVT, deep vein thrombosis, which is like a blood clot that can kill you, and other things. Though all of these things were things that were on my mind constantly. So I'm like, hell no, we are getting our asses up and we are walking. Okay, so that following Monday, because I had surgery on Friday, my mom, she works from home, so she came over to help me out. And again, we had already gone grocery shopping. There was food in the house. There was all my kids, they're old enough, they can pretty much do for themselves. Like, they really just need me to say like, go brush your teeth, go do this, go do that. So I used my walker just to like get around and tell them like what to do or whatever. But she was mainly just there to make sure that like I was good, like make sure I wouldn't be trying to do too much, which for me, I never want to be a burden. So I know that I was definitely doing too much, but I was just like, no, like I'll be all right. All I need you to do is just make sure that I'm alive, basically. And then drive my kids to school, pick them up, because you can't drive. I'm sure I could have driven that first week, but I just chose not to. And I was just like, yeah, no, I can't do it. Doctor said no. So I just had people driving my kids around, drove me around. Now for arm lipo, my surgeon did recommend that I do endermology, which I don't even want to try to explain what it is to you. I will put the description on the screen, and I wish that I would have gotten footage. I do want to go back and do more treatments, but they are expensive. But it reduces inflammation and cellulite and certain things like that. But he did not recommend lymphatic massages at all. Like, he was just like, no lymphatic massages, like endermology for your arms only, and that's it. I think I had my first post-op appointment like 5 days later at that point, I guess is what Tuesday was. So my mom had to take me to my endermology appointment and then my post-op appointment. And then this one, they actually did put a faja on me, a full body faja. And this thing was like leggings, like down to the ankles. This thing was so freaking tight. They checked my wounds, they checked my because I had to get a new belly button. They checked everything that they had worked on. They checked it all. Basically, that was it. They took pictures and they were like, yeah, just go on your way, just keep sending in your drain log or whatever. From that point on, I was basically on my own. And I was okay. My husband didn't want me doing stuff, but I was like, okay, like I can't keep putting people out. It was more so just the fact that I was just fresh out of surgery, that everybody was worried about me. But for the most part, I felt fine. Like, I still had some pain, and I still like felt like I had surgery, but I didn't feel like the day after surgery, or even like the second or third day. Like, I felt like I was good. Like, I felt okay to be at home alone, because all I did was rest. I had alarms set for my drains, because I had to drain like every few hours. I had medication to take like every 3 hours. So I had a system set up. I would take a nap, get up and walk, take a nap, get up and walk, take a nap, take my medicine, things like that. And then I still had to go to the endermology appointment. So people would come and get me for those, or I would just drive myself. So, and I would still have my walker. So, I mean, it was fine. Week 2 through 4 was pretty good. You're already on the up and up. Now, I will say that everybody's surgery experience is different. There's so many people online who talk about, I was standing up a week later, I was doing this a week later. No, baby girl. I was not standing up until like 4 weeks later, like standing up straight. And the surgeon said, don't even try to stand up straight until like 4 weeks later. Didn't necessarily say why, but I felt a lot of pulling in my belly button area. And with my scar, they said that the longer you stay hunched over, the thinner your scar is. My scar is extremely thin. So I'm glad that I physically wasn't able to even like stand up straight, but my back at that point was hurting more than anything I ever did because I was so hunched over like all the time. I had so much energy. I was trying to figure out what to do with it. So I was like, well, maybe I'll show them like how I clean my scar or how I do this or how I do that. So I have all this footage that like it just wasn't good. Okay, so I've opted in for the Adam Sandler look today. I'm just gonna put this sweatshirt on and call it a day. My drains, I'm gonna make them like a fanny pack instead of like a purse. You know, oh my gosh, like it literally hurts my lower back more than it hurts anywhere else because I'm standing like this. Yeah, I could not stand up straight. I was still in a faja. I was still having to do all these things. And it's like, you think after surgery, you're just going to be resting. No, it's a lot of work. Like you still have to drain your drains. You still have to make sure that you're taking your medication, everything. I did not get the drains out until week 2. And you gotta clean your scar, you gotta change your bandages. Like it's a lot. The aftercare is a lot of work. At my 2-week post-op appointment, I got my drains removed and I got some tape removed that I had on me. And I forgot to mention that right after surgery, I had a ton of tape like wrapped around my whole body. And I was just like, what happened to me? Like, is this normal? Like, is this okay? But they say after lipo, like it's just, I don't know what the reason was, but whatever. Thank God it came out okay. After week 4, they put me in a smaller compression garment. They told me I didn't have to use the lipo foam anymore, which I had to use for the first 4 weeks to make sure that I was like really reducing the inflammation. By 4 weeks, I was standing about 80% straight. I still wasn't all the way, which I just thought was insane. I'm like, why the fuck can I stand up straight still? But you get smaller garments and then they take off, they check my scar. And then at 6 weeks, they took my belly button sutures out. And like all the sutures that were around me, they were just like, okay, like now you're just like in the healing, you're in your healing era. And I was ready for that. They also told me to wear my garments for the first, like the arm garment, they said for up to 6 weeks, but I still wear it occasionally. And then like the rest of the garments, like up like 6 to 12 weeks. I still wear it as much as I can because I'll be liking to be snatched. That's pretty much it. I'm about 13 weeks whenever I'm filming this right now. And I would say that I feel good. I feel almost 100% healed. There's still some times whenever like I engage my core that I can feel it and I'm just like, oh wait, like you did have surgery. Or like there's sometimes me and my husband would be playing around and he'll like push me on the bed and I'm like, hold on, brother, that doesn't feel safe. I mean, they say 12 weeks, you're like pretty much good. Like I'm good to go back to the gym. I'm good to start like engaging the core whenever I work out. Like I'm good for all those things, according to my surgeon. So my last piece of advice for anybody who's thinking about doing it, do it. Like do your research, consider everything carefully, and just do it. It is not, for me, it was not an easy feat. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna do this and then like finance it like through credit, care credit. That was not it for me. It was more pay a down payment, pay it over time, lose 30 pounds, like rearrange your schedule a few times and then get it done. Like if I truly feel like if I can do it, anybody can do it. If you really truly want it, then you'll make it happen for yourself. And if you have the means to do it, why not? Everything happens for a reason, so I don't regret the timing of it at all. I do feel like I do believe in divine timing, but I feel so much happier. My back pain is gone. I feel like I look the way I've always thought I looked. Because whenever I look at old pictures of me, I'm like, damn, like I look terrible. And I thought I was like the baddest in the room. But now I feel like the way that I look more so embodies the way that I've always thought I looked. And granted, I still have more work to do. Like tummy tuck isn't the end all. Like you still have to like work out and tone and do everything to get like where exactly you want to be. But it definitely has helped. So I don't regret it at all. I feel like if anything, I regret not doing it sooner, not losing the weight sooner so that I could have had it done sooner. So I'm going to insert some more pictures about how I look now. So hopefully I answered all your questions. I was trying to be thorough, but if you do have any extra questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I do plan on being as transparent as possible since I'm just starting to share. And yeah, also if you guys are interested in how I lost the 30 pounds before getting the surgery, let me know in the comment section below. I will let you guys know how I did it. You're not gonna like it. I'll tell you that right now. You will not like it, but it is effective and it worked. It worked for me at least. So I'll let you know how I did it. But otherwise, let me know what you guys think about the before and after pictures. And if you've had surgery or you can relate to the story or if it was helpful, let me know in the comment section below. I would love to connect. And you guys will see my face in the next one.